All right. So where we last left off, you and the rest of the party had found your way into this strange world, where
Mm,
you ran into a temple of Cercinia and Valen. And you had
yes.
this disembodied voice kind of talk to you and tell you that you guys had been chosen as the Lights of Perseverance to maintain the current world and not allow forces to reset this world.
Warriors of Light.
Yes, Warriors of Light. Um, and you had all accepted this responsibility. And in turn, the Light said that they would give you power and that they would test you. And so, after this golden orb of light finds its way inside you and giving you this increased power, your vision had gone white. And when you awake, you find yourself in a very strange but familiar place. Um, the You no longer see your party members, but instead you find yourself in a theater watching a show. And you turn to your right, and your mother is there. And she motions to you and says, "Callum, Callum, wake up! This is my favorite part." And you look up and you see your father on stage singing and performing.
Mm. Is it something I've seen before? Like, am I familiar with this moment or anything at all?
Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Uh, Dice don't fail me now. Uh, oh, 15.
15.
Yeah.
So you recognize this scene. This has happened in your past before.
Okay.
But almost around the edges of your vision is this kind of white haze. It's very, very thin, and you only barely notice it.
Okay.
Um, and just at this moment, your father hits this very nice vibrato note near the top of his range, and your mother just kind of leans back and swoons. It's like, "Ah, Callum, your father is so talented, isn't he?"
He is. I never get tired of watching him perform.
Callum, what is
Yes,
it?
Mom.
What is it that you want to do?
I I want to protect y'all. I want to protect. I want to help those who are less fortunate than me.
Protect. This is kind of strange. And as you kind of look at your surroundings a little bit more, and you look down at your hands, they are considerably younger than where you were just moments ago.
Dude.
Um, he says, "I don't know what this is about protecting, but I didn't know you wanted to be some sort of knight."
I I don't want to be a knight. I want to make things that will help people, Mom. I
Make
want to learn how to make cool things to help people.
hmm.
I, am I like in the mindset of a child, or am I like
You are in
still like
your mind space as an
just as
adult,
a
but you
okay?
are in your place in this time as a child.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
I want to make things that will help people. I want to make tools and gadgets that they can use to protect themselves and to protect others.
Hmm. Well, this is certainly not anything I expected from you, but you've always been very, very smart and very much one to tinker with things. Remember when you were messing with one of your father's stage props? You were trying to
Yeah,
make the ropes go on their own with very little effort, and man, the look on your father's face, just a time I'll never forget.
I probably should have warned him before I started doing that. That
Well,
probably wasn't my best decision.
probably, but I mean, Callum, you know that this is going to take a lot of work, right?
I know, but I'm willing to do it because if I don't, who will?
And in this moment, your father does this incredible, like tragic tragedy scene. where he's betrayed by his best friend and he falls over, and um, your mother goes, "Yeah, you definitely have that piece of your father in you." And your vision goes white,
Okay.
and it comes back, and you are in the Sable Raven with
Okay.
your mother, and she is making a transaction with another familiar figure. She goes, "Now listen, sir. I don't mean to be prude, but the price is this." And you see this little gnome man, and he goes, "Oh, I don't mean to devalue what it is you're selling, but the price does seem a little bit high." Um,
Okay. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead. If you have a way you want to approach, go for it.
I just want to see. Do I know what they're arguing over?
Uh, yes, it's a set of parchment, and some very very nice ink, as well as some stamps. And you can tell that this is actually something that you helped work on. You
Okay.
helped like make the stamp set. Um, and she continues and goes, "Look, this is like handmade, handcrafted. This is not just some ordinary stamp sets that you are asking for." And he goes, "Well, I suppose I can't argue with that. I didn't quite realize where the handiwork. Might I ask who is responsible for this?"
I walk over. I'd be like, "That's my work right there, and this won't be the last time you see something I made."
And he starts to examine it a little bit closer upon seeing you, and he goes, "Really? You designed this?"
Did it all by myself, and one day I'll be making it for the royalty and and for the rich people, and
Um,
then even greater things.
your mother looks at you very, very proudly. And she goes, "See, I listen. I know fine craftsmanship when I see it. This is not family bias. This is, I mean, look at this. This is, you couldn't get adults who can make as good of work as my young Callum here." Uh, and the gnome man goes, "Ah, Callum, was it?
That's me.
Interesting. So
Who's
you want to
asking?
be an inventor?"
Yes, I want to make lots of great things so I can help people.
Um, and he goes, "Well, my name is Puckwin, and if you want, I might have some stuff that would really help your inventions take off."
I just look at my mother and be like, can I?
Your mother goes, "Well,
Oh, come on. You know what I want this more than anything. I'll
I
do anything.
I know your father and I should talk about it though. Mr. Puckwin, do you live here in town? I don't know that I've seen you before." And he goes, "Oh, yes, yes, I would love to. I do live here in town. I just started up shop here. I've got my own little workshop of things, and um, I could easily come by this afternoon and speak with you all on it then." With
I
that,
take a little.
oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I was like, I take out a little. Oh, I wouldn't have that ability yet. Never mind. I would take out like a little like trinket I
Mhm,
made. Like maybe with little hop along toys. I
mhm.
figure that's something I
Yeah,
could have
yeah,
made.
yeah. And he takes it and he goes, "Do you mind if I hold on to this until this afternoon?"
Keep it, mister. It's yours.
Um, he, he says, "All right, well, I'll be back this evening." And you blink, and all of a sudden, you are in your living room above the
Mhm.
shop, and it is you, your father, and Puckwin. Um, and your father goes, "Well, Puckwin, this seems like an interesting proposition you have here for our young Callum. Let me ask this: why Callum? There are plenty of young boys and young girls here in Selenia, especially Selenia. Um, we're one of the biggest cities here in the world right now." Um, why Callum? And Puckwin kind of takes a smirk and he looks over at you and he goes, you know, sometimes you just see somebody and you can see that fire in their eyes. And I think Callum has what it takes to become something truly great. And
Dad, please. You got to train with some. You got to train with someone before you started doing your acting and singing. I have to. I need a teacher. One just walked in the front door.
and your father actually looks at your mother, and your mother goes, "Well, that is true. Look, Puckwin, how much time are you anticipating taking young Callum every day? Because Callum, you still need to finish at least some school. You need to know about the world and the other things more than just tinkering. So we can't have those things slip."
I just kind of sit in the corner and I just kind of like cross my arms and just like, I hate school. It's boring.
Puckwin chuckles. He goes, "Listen, young Callum, school can be boring, but you know what? In boredom, we find our finest inspirations."
I kind of lean over him like, that's where I do most of my tinkering while
Yeah.
the teacher's talking to the other kids.
And your mother is pretty impressed with this statement. Um, and upon kind of seeing this interaction between you two and hearing this, she goes, "Well, you're right, Callum. You need a teacher. And obviously, your father and I are not well versed in this. And I think it would be good for you to have a teacher." And your father goes, "Yep. You know what? I would not have gotten where I am now without somebody showing me the ropes." So, yeah, it's yeah, you are free to work with Puckwin.
Great. We can start tomorrow.
Puckwin laughs and he goes, "Yeah, let's start tomorrow." And there's a flash, and you wake up, and this is a
Mhm.
couple years later.
Right.
You notice that your perception of the world has gotten closer to what you're used to now,
Right.
and that your body is, taller and those kinds of things. Um, and you are in your workshop with Puckwin, and you are kind of tinkering around with some some music boxes
Mhm.
and messing with stuff. And Puckwin walks over to you and goes, "Ah, young Callum, once again with the music boxes, I see."
Well, we have to start somewhere. I figured if nothing else, this can help me. I can sell this stuff to make money to create bigger inventions, better inventions.
Ah, interesting thought here. Now, do me a favor. Uh, why don't you? Let me. Um, you know that one cantrip I taught you? Message.
Yeah.
And he grabs one of his he takes his hands and he hovers over the music box a little bit, and it starts to kind of morph a little bit. And he says, "Why don't you go ahead and cast that cantrip onto that music box and think about what you want it to say."
Go ahead. So I guess he sits. So Callum sits there for a second, just kind of not completely understanding what his mentor means,
Mhm.
and then he kind of leans forward and points at it, trying to make sure he gets his hands right and everything because
Mhm.
he's not super used to it. He goes, "Through invention, there is change." That's what he casts on it.
Okay. And you see your spell fly into this music box, and it brings itself back into a normal music box shape.
Hmm.
Uh, and he goes, "Callum, why don't you spin the dial on the side?"
I kind of apprehensively do it, but I go ahead and spin it.
Yeah. And as you do, you hear your own voice repeat back to you.
How did you do that, or did I do that?
Well, it was a mix of both. Um, you see, Callum, this is where our partnership and mentorship comes in. For a long while now, you have been working through physical tinkering, and while learning a little bit of magic on the side through me. Now, when you combine the two, is when we start to get to more the stuff you are wanting to do, Callum. And
I will say,
oh, go ahead.
okay, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would say at this moment, I think Callum's kind of been going along with things and just letting them play out again. But this is the first time like he's kind of brought out of the moment. There's this jolt of nostalgia, but also
Mhm.
regret.
Right. This is actual like modern Callum realizing that this is
Mhm.
just a memory.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think everything was kind of shut up at this point, but I think this is one of those things. This is the moment he kind of realizes there's a turning point,
Hmm.
and he's very nostalgic for all of these good times he had and all the learning he's done, and then he remembers what happens.
Hmm. Uh, and after this, your vision starts to go white,
Mhm.
and when it comes to he, you are all, or you both are working in the workshop again. At this point, in your memory, this is a little bit closer. Like this is very close to modern day.
Yeah,
Um, and he goes, and you guys are working on stuff, and he's working on a crossbow, and
Mhm.
you're over there working on some more like normal things like the kind of stamps and the
Yeah.
music boxes and maybe like small toys for children.
Mhm.
Um, and you look over at Puckwin, and while he's working on his crossbow, you notice that his little that old frog a hoppy toy you gave him is still on his
Yeah.
desk. And Puckwin says, "Hey, Callum, could you come here a second?"
I go ahead and I get to a stopping point with what I'm working on. I set down and I go over and see what he's working on.
And he goes, "Callum, are you enjoying this work?"
I do. It's been amazing. I love what I've learned to do so far, and it's all thanks to you. And I reach down, I tap the little hoppy frog, and I make it start smelling like strawberries.
Mhm. And he laughs and goes, "Oh, Callum, you always did have a natural knack for this. I just, I've kept this toy, and I feel like you're getting better, and your magic is getting stronger. But it makes me wonder if your motivation is taking a dip."
I I don't know what you mean. I've been working. We work every day to on all these projects and trying to make myself better. I don't know what you can mean.
Well, I guess let me rephrase. Are you enjoying what you're doing? Because your product is good. And I just want to make sure that you are still in love with the craft. It's very easy to kind of burn up doing this.
I just I keep thinking about what I've told my everyone forever what I want to do, and I don't know how to take that next step of going from making these toys and trinkets to helping people.
Mm. Well, I know you want to help people, and that's always a great aspiration, but what what truly got you to this point? Why? And, you know, it's good to help people, but what do you hope to attain at the end?
Attain. I'm not doing it because I want anything back. you don't help people because you want something from them.
And why inventions?
I mean, everyone has their own thing. My dad is a great actor and singer. My mom is a great businesswoman. This is just my thing. I like inventions. I like tinkering. It's what I'm good at.
That you are, Callum. I really hope that desire and flame never goes away. And you blink,
Mhm.
and you are in your mother's shop. And as you walk in, you see Puckwin, but not the same one you've been working with. An older, more decrepit one. And you see this dark, swirling energy around him. And you see the crossbow to the side. What do you do?
The panic starts to rise in his chest, Callum's chest, as he remembers what happened that night and remembers what comes next.
Mhm.
And without thinking, he goes back for the crossbow again. But and he grabs it and then he starts to load it, and there's a slight moment of hesitation. He doesn't know if he can do this a second time. He did it the first time,
Mhm.
but he doesn't know if he can do it a second time. And he realizes he doesn't have a choice, and he loads it, and he turns around and takes in the scene.
Yeah. So, as you put the crossbow bolt in, you knowing what comes next, you feel this magical energy start to course through your body. But before you can fire, your vision actually goes black, and you awake to a um uh uh to this like void space,
Hmm.
and you find a man, an undead man wielding a scythe, who you recognize as Kelivor.
Oh god.
And he says to you, and you look at yourself and you realize you are back in your full energy form. You are in where you currently are. And he says, Callum, are you moving closer to your goal?
My lord, I'm trying. It seems that every time we we take a step forward, the leads just disappear. But I'm hoping now that I have allies, that my allies, we can. I'm confident we can make it. I'm confident we can seek down these artifacts that profaned your domain.
You've done well thus far. I really am happy with the progress you have made in this regard. And it seems you've taken on a responsibility in twain with mine.
I hope that I can do both at the same time. I have a feeling that the responsibilities I've taken on are in line with your own goals, and that by doing one, I will help the other.
I am sure that that will be the case. And it seems you've made some good allies along the way.
They seem to be good people, and it seems a couple of them have also been taken notice of by other deities, and I think that they want the same thing you do. Maybe not for the same reasons, but I think our end goal is the same. I can only hope.
Now, if you ever find Puckwin, what do you intend to do? And the scene around you starts to shift. As you are now on this craggy riff with lightning bolts and a storm swirling around, heavy winds and rain. You are no longer holding a crossbow, but you are charging some sort of powerful magic device. And you see Puckwin, and this is his. He's caught between his young and old form. His eyes are coursing with purple and blue energy as he looks upon you in fear. What do you do?
Why did why did you do it? Why? You could have helped so many people.
And he doesn't answer.
I sit there and I hesitate. I'm not ready. I can't do this yet. I don't know what needs to happen. I think, what if he can still be saved? What if he had other reasons?
And inside your head, you hear the voice from the temple say, "So, you don't like to take action until you find out more. When the time
I,
comes, if the time comes, do you have the willpower to do what you need to do?"
I will do what I must, but you can't stop me from at least trying to ensure that someone who's a friend for a long time isn't killed needlessly.
Hmm.
What kind of hero would I be if I just killed everyone who disagreed with me?
Very well said, Callum. And you find your vision going white, and when you wake back up, you are back in the temple of Cercinia and Valen, and it seems that your allies have come to as well, as if they've experienced something similar.
I
And
just kind of take a seat and breathe and have a mild panic attack.
and that is your mini session.
Oh, that was fun. I liked it a lot.